back. So, alright, so we're going to continue on. The siege of Sarajevo, okay? We saw where the Sarajevo was, where it's according to the map, so let's kind of get into the thick of it right there. In April of 1992, Bosnian Serb nationalists placed Sarajevo on Bosnian capital under siege. So 13,000 Bosnian Serb troops encircled the city, and their snipers started taking out positions trying to eliminate just civilians, not just soldiers. They were going after just civilians. And as you can see down there in the picture where there were civilians who were ducking because of sniper fire. So what it is that, as you can tell by the picture, that Sarajevo is surrounded by hills and mountains. So what they did is that they set up positions in that area to be disguised so they can snipe these people. All right, as you can tell, that a woman is just completely trying to avoid being sniped. So then we talked about the high rises and things of that sort as well. So no place was spared. Schools, markets, hospitals, libraries, industrial sites, government buildings, they didn't care. They were going after anyone. It's all about ethnic cleansing. So in the end, about 13,352 people had died, including 5,434 people. There's a nice little sign that states that it says Sniper Alley, watch out sniper. So that was in the streets of Sarajevo. So surviving in Sarajevo, basically what it comes down to is that people were being displaced and things of that sort. They were losing their homes and things of that sort. So there was long queues of food, which means that there were long lines of people trying to get their food from. People risked their lives for queuing hours by collecting water from fountains that were full, where snipers preyed upon them from the hills and the other buildings. As you can tell, that some of what happened during that time frame, and then you got some of the people that are remain resilient. Again, keyword. Developing indigenous ways to survive of the devastating conditions. So they found ways to get water in this sense. Got to be really bad, and as you can tell. Here you go, this is what I was talking about right here. The Act of Defiance in 1994, in the middle of a siege of Sarajevo, an average 30,000 grenades fell onto the city, bringing death and destruction to every street. Milana Veranovic, dressed up in an elegant 1960s dress, put on a pair of high heels, styled her hair to perfection, and finished off with her liquid lipstick. This woman is not caring about what's going on in this world. Then she walked through Sarajevo with her head held up high while grenades and sniper bullets showered nearly every inch of the city. Little did she know that photographer Todd Stoddard managed to take a few pictures of her while she was doing that. So she was basically saying, you know what, I don't care, I'm gonna live my life like that. Meaning what? Resilient. Alright, failed peace proposals. In the summer of '92, they tried it. Didn't work out too well. Bosnian Serbs controlled about 70% of the land, and they didn't want to give it up. They're like, hey, it's our land. We conquered it. It's a picture of a bridge in Mostar. Here's the NATO intervention. We talked about NATO. I'm not going to kill that bird right now. We already know what it is. 1994, at UN's request, NATO launched its isolation, ineffective airstrikes against the Bosnian Serbs. So we discussed that in the book, where the bombing campaign, where it entailed, where they were trying to bomb Bosnian Serbs so they could stop with the ethnic cleansings. All those posts are just dedicated to people that were killed or murdered in Srebrenica. Fall of Srebrenica in 1993 declared Srebrenica and other Muslim enclaves were to be safe areas protected by contingent UN peacekeepers. In 1995, however, Bosnian Serb forces advanced on Srebrenica, overwhelming a battalion of 450 Dutch peacekeeping forces stationed there and shelling it. So that's what happened there. There's massive killing there. So basically, Srebrenica fell in one day. So the Serbian forces subsequently separated the Bosnian civilians, Srebrenica, putting the women and children on buses, sending them to Bosnian held territories. They expelled 25,000 women and children into the town. So they just basically took women and children, moved them, and right over there it states that 15,000 men and boys were tried, or excuse me, were hunted down, and approximately 3,000 of them were killed in the process. This is what we're talking about, the genocide. End of a 4-day massacre, 8,000 men and teenage boys have been killed. As you can tell, it's a mass grave right there. Thousands were buried in mass graves right there. Serb forces subsequently dug up the bodies and scattered them within a systematic of concealed crimes. So basically what they're saying is that war crimes are not happening and genocide is not happening. So they didn't want the UN or the world to see what's really going on. Some of the bullet holes that you can see through the Bosnian Muslims that were executed in an area in Srebrenica. There's some of the gravestones in the Memorial Center of Srebrenica. So UN war crimes investigators later excavated that mass graves, over 1,000 bodies are still missing. So there's still people that are missing. They still don't have understanding where these people were at. Bodies were also moved by the original graves to secondary locations to conceal the crime. Again, they're trying to say, hey, you know what, this genocide's not happening. Commemoration on July 9th every year. The remains of those who had been identified over the past year and buried in the Memorial Center of Putkari. So there's the remains. Right here, it says Dayton Peace Agreement. Now, Dayton, where is Dayton?
Ohio.
There we go. Yes, Ohio. Can you believe that this actually happened in Dayton, Ohio? This peace agreement happened in the United States in Dayton, Ohio. So you got the leaders of Serbia, Bosnia, and Croatia right there. Milosevic is on the left. You got, I can't think right now. Kardzic, and then the guy on the right. I need to figure that guy out. So anyway, war is finally over. Almost 60,000 NATO troops assumed to head to Bosnia to keep the peace. And we talked about that before. It happened in November 1992. So there's the Dayton Agreement. They agreed to establish 2 semi-autonomous entities of Bosnia and Herzegovina. The federal Bosnia and Herzegovina inhabited primarily the Bosnian and Bosnian Croats, as you can tell by the map itself. You got the lighter orange, which is Muslim Croat, and then the Bosnian Serbs in the Republic. So actually they divided it. Here's the Dayton Peace Agreement of the ethnicities where they are designed to be, as you can tell. The blue is the Croats, the greens is the Bosniaks, the red is the Serbs, and the Bosnian Croats are the yellow. So as you can tell, from the left is what was the beginning of the war to the end of the war. Here's your casualty route. Bosnia, of course, lost the most. They had 25,600 civilians, 42,500 soldiers killed. The Serbs had 74,080 versus, 15,000 soldiers, 7,200 soldiers for Croats and 1,600 civilians. So obviously the Bosnians were the ones that were getting exterminated. The effects of the war, like we discussed, 100,000 people had passed. Fate of 85,000 people from Bosnia are still unknown, meaning that they still don't know whatever happened to these people. And then you still have like what soldiers and civilians suffer from PTSD. So as you can tell, the economy was devastated. And there we have the PowerPoint presentation. Do you have any questions on that?
Nope.
All right. So now what we're going to do, guys, is we're going to take our little handy dandy map, and you're going to fill in the map with those little capitals that you wrote. You're going to do that. We're going to color it up and hang on to it, and then we're going to go into caused, of course, the conclusion of the Bosnian War. So we're going to go into that. So that will be at another time, another place for our next session, and we'll go from there. Okay.